Now let's set up production. Go to the toolbox, and within admin, we're going to click on our operation settings. Before we track any production work, we need to have these operation settings set up. The first option is default time send, which is when the OPM emails will leave the system by default. OPM emails stands for Online Project Management. These are emails that will leave the system after each day of work is entered in through the mobile version by your foreman. This is a global default set time that you can choose. The default number of photos that are to be previewed in those emails. If you would like to enable OPM approvals, you would check this box. Please note, no OPM emails will be sent from the system unless they are approved prior to the send time. Edit prior day OPM entries will prevent all of your users from being able to go back to previous days of work and make changes. If you wish that certain users can go back and make changes to past entries, then you want to check this box. You will also control this on a per user basis. Mandatory punch out picture will require the foreman to take a picture when they punch out the crew at the end of the day. If you do not want them to have to take a picture, leave that box unchecked. Project start emails will come from, select the user in the dropdown, and their email will be the source of the project start emails. Show in project start emails. Within those emails, as they leave the system, they will be a countdown until the project start date arrives. That could be displayed by a static start date or a countdown. Now, the in progress OPM emails that are sent during the duration of the job can either be set to count down to the start date, or show the static start date, or show the static end date. These goals, once populated, will be displayed on the production dashboard. How much value in backlog should you have on average? How much value in jobs should you have in progress on average? What is your company goal for contract sales this year, which would be the replacement projects or the production jobs? And last, what is your average contract value? The combination of these 4 questions will populate the 3 gauges of backlog, in progress, and completed. This is also where you'll go to set up your safety fields. Click on Custom Safety Field Setup. This is where you can add up to 75 user-defined fields that are to be populated on each day of work entered in through the mobile version, either by your foreman or your safety inspector. You can see by our examples, we have created fields based around safety flags being tied off, safety meetings being attended, anything that would protect your company from OSHA and validate that you are following the safety procedures and protocol your company has set. The types of fields you can add are open text box, drop down multiple choice, or yes, no. Each field you create can require a photo. You can edit existing fields, you can delete them, and you can add new custom field. If you add new custom field, here you will title it, indicate if this will require a photo, and note that it will not force the user to put a photo in, but it will be available to upload the picture for this field. The help text will populate the question mark to explain this field. The type you will choose between the standard text box, the drop down, populate these choices, or yes, no. And lastly, you can have a default option to where all of the fields will default at what you select. Be sure to hit update values to save your change. After you change your operation settings, be sure to hit update to save your changes. Now that we have this set up, let's go to Timecard Master so we can set up our foreman, our superintendent, and all of our crew guys. Within Toolbox, locate Timecard Master. Note, all of the production tools are blue. Within Timecard Master, you have the ability to add new employee. If the user is already in the system, be sure to click into their name and edit their account. Let's take a look at a foreman. Since we've already added Carl through the user administration, we'll simply edit his account and make sure he's set up correctly. Carl is a foreman, so under position we have written in foreman. He works within the re-roof division. Type is hourly or salary, and we enter in the rate. You can select when they were hired and also who they were hired by. On the top right, you can indicate if you'd like this user to be able to log in or not. With Timecard Master, this is the only place in which you can change the user password. If this person leaves your company for whatever reason, this is where you would turn off the account by unchecking Account Enabled. Within Employee Settings, since Carl is a foreman, we have selected On Foreman List. This means Carl will be assigned production jobs. If they are on a crew, they will be checked available for crews. You will note you can't be a foreman and available for crew. Superintendent. This is where you will check the superintendent within the system. Only Timecard is an option that you can turn on, which is primarily used if this user will never log into the system, which also makes it so their name does not appear throughout the activity lists, the email lists, and wherever else you would see a drop down of users. You can also assign a reports to. Reports to does more than act as a label. Reports to is also privilege based and is to be used in cases where you might have multiple individuals that come into Timecard Master to change time, and you don't want those individuals to change everybody's time. Using reports to makes it so whoever they report to can change their time. If you would prefer to set it up to where you can edit everybody's time, then you would be listed as an admin. So once again, reports to is to be used if you need to control who can edit people's time. Whoever this person reports to is the only person that can approve and edit this person's time. Info options are created within Timecard Master, and once you add the field, you can check off any of these options. Be sure to hit Update Employee Info when you're done. Also note, there is a link to System Settings on the top right, which will bring you over to the User Administration to be able to modify the alerts and other privileges. You will find within Timecard Master, you'll have everything that you need to change to set up people for production. The foreman, superintendent, and the crew guys. The next tab within a user is Timesheet, which is where all of Carl's time will be permanently housed at. Each user also has a Notes tab where you can enter into and create new notes to document certain things. Activities are not to be confused with calendar events, but are a way to create activities outside of the calendar. Let's return to Timecard Master. Once you fill out information for all of the employees, you'll start to see some information. You'll start to see the screen populate. When they were hired, their name, employee number, who they were hired by, the position, workman's comp, division, the type, and who they report to. You can also show inactive users at any time. Timecard Master is where all of the company time will be permanently housed at, and where you go to edit, confirm, map, archive, and export. You can filter by user, job, task code. You can select a date range. If you don't see a date range you're looking for, you can select custom and search for those results. Within Timecard Master, you'll also see notes, which will be the notes across the board, activities, and this is also where you go to set up those info options. These info options, once set up, are available as you edit each of your employees. Now that we have set up our superintendent, our foremans, and our crew guys, let's take a look at Manage Crews. Over in the toolbox, let's locate the production board or the contract tool. And on this dashboard, we have Manage Crews. foreman will show up on the top, whereas the crew guys will show up on the left.